Daf Kuf Dalid. Elam Rabbi says Shani Masdisin. The case of our Mishnah, the halacha stated here could be in accordance with the opinion of both Rabbi Tarfon and Rabbi Akiva. The Kivin the other Lamam Gazli. The robber knows whom he robbed, and he admitted that he robbed him. Since it's possible to return the money to its owner, so it says the one who says to the robber, the money you owe me will be kept in your possession as like a pekadon for me. Therefore, in the case where Nishba the robber took a shov, Bava Kamah, even though the owner is considered to have said to him, the money you owe me will be kept in your possession as a deposit for me. Since the robber requires kapara for his shov, the sagi had the matayadi. It's not possible for him to achieve kapara until the money reaches the possession of the robber and victim. But in the case where the robber did not take a false oath, if he got it pekadon, the money is considered as a deposit until the owner comes and takes it. The Mishnah teaches that if the robber wishes to return the stolen item, he may not give the payment to the victim's son to return it to the robbery victim, nor to the shtech. Itmar stated, Shliach Shaso Be'edim, a shliach who was appointed in the presence of witnesses to collect the chay from another. Chista Omar, Chista says, so it's considered a shliach. Since the leva is considered to have repaid his chay as soon as he transfers the money to the shliach, and the chayiv and the leva will not be held responsible if an accident occurs causing the loss of the money before the shliach gives it to the creditor. And Abba Leva shliach is not considered shliach. This is normally I have a shliach. Jesus says this is a shliach. Why lochi terachiv can be beidem? This is the reason why the Malva took the trouble and appointed the shliach shluchim in the presence of witnesses, the lekim reshusei, in order to place the matter under the shliach's domain. Rabbi says that it's not a shliach. Why? Because we assume that the Malva is assumed to sing to the Leva, this individual is a trustworthy person. If you're willing to rely on him, rely on him to convey the payment to me. If you wish to send the chayv and it's his possession, then shadar biyadi, send it in his possession. Now the Gemara is going to bring a Mishnah that poses a difficulty to the opinion of Chista. Now, look at the Mishnah above Metzia. Ashela Sapana, with regard to a person who enters into agreement to borrow a cow from another. And the owner sent it to the borrower in the possession of his son, his own son, or his own slave, or the possession of his own shliach. Maybe b'nei, or in the borrower, or he sent it in the possession of the borrower's son. The halacha is a mesa. If a cow died, pater, the borrower is exempt from paying for the cow, as it never entered his possession. So I'm going to explain to the Mishnah. What is the circumstances surrounding this appointment? If the Mishnah is discussing a case where he did not appoint him as a shliach in the presence of witnesses, so how do we know that he was appointed as a shliach? Rather, it must be in a case where he appointed him as a shliach in the presence of witnesses. So I needed a pater, and the Mishnah teaches us that he's pater. In fact, they want to kash to the Rav Chista. This is a question on Rav Chista. Holds the one acquired property through his agent. According to his reasoning, the borrower should be held responsible for the cow once it reaches the possession of the shliach. So the answer is because Rav Chista. This is as Rav Chista says concerning a different Mishnah. with regard to his hired hand or to his regular harvester. Al-Khanami, here too, we're talking about B'schidei B'likite. The Mishnah discusses a case where there was no witnesses to the appointment of the shliach. Therefore, this doesn't pose it to the shayla. Since it's well known that this person is constantly, the service, he was assumed to be acting as a shliach. The Gemara poses a difficulty to the opinion of Chizah from another Mishnah. Tanan, within the Mishnah, if the robber wants to return the stolen item, he may not give the payment to the robbery's victim's son or to the shliach. So the Gemara says, what is the circumstances surrounding this appointment? The Mishnah is discussing a case where the robbery victim did not appoint the shliach. So how do you know that he's appointed as a shliach? Must be that he didn't in front of him. And the robber, nevertheless, does not fulfill his obligation to return the stolen item by giving to the shliach. Talking about talking about with regards to hired hand or his regular harvester. Would not require witnesses to validate their appointment as his shliach. Now, with regard to shliach, will point it in the presence of witnesses. What's the halacha? When we see that indeed one appointed before witnesses is legally a shliach. So now the Tani Sefer, look at the later case. When I said the shliach lebeistin, we may give the payment to the shliach lebeistin. Let him make a distinction with them. Shliach who the robbery victim appointed in the presence of witnesses indeed recognize shliach. So I would say psikally, you couldn't have stated this halacha definitively. Shliach based in, as in the case of the agent, it was based on Leishnaso, and the example of Leishnaso doesn't. There's no difference whether the robbery victim appointed him as a shliach. In other words, the Beis Din appointed him at the behest of the robbery victim, and there's no difference whether the robber appointed him as a shliach. The Beis Din appointed him at the behest of the robber. Psikally, in both cases, he's legally recognized as a shliach. Shliach shall him. Therefore, a shliach, by contrast, the shliach was appointed in the presence of witnesses. Only when the guy appointed him as an agent, he's a shliach. So gazli ever shliach. So that only the robbery victim appointed him as a shliach, but when the robber appointed him as a shliach, he's not a shliach. Like particularly, well, it couldn't have been stated definitively. And this Mishnah states that a shter Beis Din is an shter, even if appointed only by a robber, serves to exclude the opinion of the following time. Tanya Shimon Lazreimer, shter Beis Din Josadiz so gasl shliach shal halav natal shalem yodei. The shliach or the Beis Din was appointed by the robbery victim, but not appointed by the robber. Shter was appointed by the robber, and essentially the robbery victim was sent and took his payment from the other shliach. Then he's pater. Shliach was appointed in the presence of witnesses. Our shliach is considered shliach. And if you're going to ask, our Mishnah Chera says to this, as the rules of the stolen item was not considered returned if given to the shliach of the robbery victim. The Gemara explains, the Mishnah does not mean to disqualify a shliach appointed by the robbery victim in the presence of witnesses, but rather referring to a case shliach, where the victim provides the robber with a shliach without appointing him in the presence of witnesses. The Amalei is that he says to someone, Isti Zuzi Gabli Planya, I have money owed to me that is currently with so-and-so, like go to Mshad a little, and he's not sending it. Skazile, present yourself to him, tell me, Perhaps he wishes to return it, but cannot find the person to whom to send it. Inami, okay. I'll read them Rishmo. One who owes a chayiv may not send money with another to the creditor on the basis of a figure or sign used in a place of signature that is associated with the creditor. Possession of the sign on the part of the other is not sufficient proof that he has been appointed as shidduch. And this is the halacha, even if witnesses verify that this is the creditor's sign or sign on it. If there are witnesses sign on it, one may send the money with the other. Ari Chums, the Shmuel Maita Kanta. According to Shmuel, what's the rectification? What recourse is available to one who wishes to collect the chay without traveling to the leva's location? I'm sorry. Case of Rabbi, who was owed money by Rabbi Bar Kamah. The Rabbi said to Rabbi Bahadi Dosis, when you come back from Rabbi Yisrael's account, I see that Ahali, bring my money to me. He also when Rabbi Safra went there, the Rabbi B'nai, so Rabbi to the son told him, Kosel Hiskabalti. Did Rabbi write your document stating, I received payment? So my father will have proof that he has absolved himself of the chayv. Amalei late. Safra said to him, no. Yachi, if so, Zilberisha. So Rabbi said, Rabbi responded, if so, go first to him. Yichtuv loch hiskabalti, and let him write your document stating, I received payment, and then my father will pay you. Sefer Moya, ultimately, Rabbi said to him, even if he writes your document, I receive payment, it's nothing. Since perhaps by the time you arrive back here, Rabbi will have died. And the money will fall before his orphans as Yerusha. And the Shkabalti, according to Rabbi, will be nothing, as the Chayiv is no longer owed to him, rather to the Yerusha. He said, so what should he do? Zil Naknil Loch Agavara Vatos Ksevlon Iskalti. He says, go, and Rabbi will transfer to you the rights to money owed to him by means of acquisition of land. Then you should come and write for us a document stating I received payments. Where it says, Ki hadra papa have a masik teitzer alfi zuzik bichayzi. It's like the course of Rabbi Papa, who was owed 12,000 dinars by a resident of Bechuzay. Hakim Nahal Rishmor Abba Agwa Sifa de Besi. He transferred his claim to the money to Rav Shmuel Bar Abba by means of acquisition of the threshold of his house. He also, Rav Shmuel Bar Abba came Nefak Lape Ad Nefach. He went as far as Tafka towards him. The Mishnah teaches that if the robber gave the robbery victim Nasna Sakaran, the principal value of the stolen item, but did not give him the additional 1/5 payment required of the robbery, is not required to pursue the robbery victim. So we see that the Chemish is a Mamena in Mayis, and if the robber died, Misham the Yershim of the robber must pay the Chayiv. You also in the Mishnah, Nasna Zakaran Nishba al Chemish, that if the robber gave the robbery victim the principal and takes a false oath of concerning the additional Chemish, we see that the Chemish is a monetary restitution. One is obligated to pay an additional 1/5 for taking a false oath, only with regard to monetary restitution, not with regard to fines. One who robs another and takes a false oath to him, they do not die and he dies. The Yershim pay their principal an additional 5th, but to them an Asham, and they're parted from a Carbon Asham. The Gemara asks, Yershim b'nei Shalumi Chumshi Davuyavi, are the Yershim obligated to pay the additional 1/5 payment of their father? So the Chemish is a Mena, but Yishlum Yershim, and therefore the Yershim must pay it. But the I'm going to ask you a question. Adain and the Eimer, I still say, Amos saying in Mishal Chemishal goes Aviv. How would still say that when does the Yerush not pay the additional 1/5 payment for his father's robbery? It's only when neither he or his father took a false oath. Who Aviv? But if he took a false oath but not his father, or Aviv who his father not him, who Aviv? So we now tell him Rasha goes to Ashak, and that he has acquired through explosion. Well, he goes to the Ashak, and he didn't do that. Since the Pasuk states the obligation to pay additional 5th when discussing one who robbed or exploited another, the Yerushim hadn't done neither. Exempt from payment. The Rabbi states that the Yerushim are not obligated to pay the additional 1/5 payments. Now says they kasha. It's not a question. Kasha either. And the Mishnah and the Bryce discussed the case where the robber admitted his obligation. Actually, there are a lot of Bryces discussing the case where he did not admit. Where rejects the answer, if the latter of Bryce discussed the case where he did not admit his obligation, can now Mishalim, you're not even pay the principal. If you're going to say, Mishalim, indeed, it is so he does not pay the principal. It isn't understood from the fact that the Tana searchers for a mucker to teach the Yerushim's exemption from only additional 1/5 payment. Remember the Kerem Shalom teaches us that he does pay the principal. Or also proves that the Yiddish must pay the principal for the continuation of the same brisa. The Tayyar further was done a brisa. Adina and the Eimer would still say, when does the Yiddish pay the principal for his robbery victim, for his father's robbery? It was mentioned it's only when he and his father both took false oaths. However, there is a learning. Ravuna san and stayed this halacha. Rabbi yesh Talmud. He says yesh Talmud. Yesh Talmud kamar or yesh Talmud kamar. Is he saying yesh Talmud, or he say that there will be payment? The yesh Talmud kamina and with the or the karoi amri. And it's an additional expression of the Pesukim that I say can be derived. So further, the father did not admit, but the son did admit. And let the son be chayav to pay the additional 1/5 payment for his own false oath. So they say when the stolen item is no longer around. Although the false oath was taken, it's not the type of obligation for which one must pay an additional 1/5 payment. So the Gemara asks, if he shouldn't have to pay even the Karen. There is guaranteed. And even when there is a guaranteed property, so what? After all, such a chayiv is Milvalpei, and they give him elimination. When there's an oral agreement, the creditor alone, by oral agreement, cannot collect from the Yerushim or the chayiv, nor can they collect those who purchase the land from the chayiv. Ami the Chacham say in response, talking about he stood a trial. I was obligated to pay. In such a case, the chayiv is considered like a loan with a note. The chayiv can collect from the Yerushim. So the Gemara says, if it's a case, the father already took the trial, he shouldn't have to pay even a 5th. Yerushim is exempt because one has not paid the additional 1/5 payment for the denial of a chayiv that is secured by a lien of land. Rabbi says, the sakya shall oven mufkadas b'adachem. In the case where the stolen item is still extant, yet the Yerushim is exempt because the father's sack containing the stolen item was deposited in the possession of others. So Karen Rishon, accordingly, he pays the principal. You see, since the stolen item is extant, because when he took the oath truthfully, the whole as he did not know that his father had stolen the item.